Back of the University of Kentucky, none other than Will Levis. Will, thanks so much for joining the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Chris.
Yeah, no problem. It's my pleasure. And you come from a very athletic family. Your great-grandfather was an All-American football player, won a national championship at Cornell. So I live near Princeton, and I always find it funny how all these Ivy League teams that we don't really see do well anymore had so many national championships back in the day. So growing up in a really athletic family, your mom was also a star athlete for soccer, and your dad played football. Do you know any stories about your grandfather, about just him and his athletic career and his success? And what was it like growing up in such a big family like that?
So I never got to know my great-grandfather. He's the one who won the national championship. And, it is kind of weird to think about, but people forget, football kind of started in the Ivy League. It was invented at University of Yale, or Yale University, and those were the first national championship teams kind of came from those teams before it expanded into other conferences, and those kind of took over and everything. But, I learned a lot from just my whole family about all different kinds of sports. I was never really forced into playing football, but it was just something that I naturally gravitated towards because of the amount of people in my family that played or coached football. My grandfather on my mom's side coached at Yale, and he always lived right next door to me when I was growing up, so he was a great resource for me. And always just had people around me helping me both physically and mentally when it came to all different kinds of sports.
That's great, and you had a lot of success in high school. You were one of the Connecticut's top recruits and a nationally ranked player. So what was your recruiting process like? And I know you always wanted to go to Penn State, so when you finally committed there, just how did it feel to commit to your dream school as a kid?
Well, yeah, coming from Connecticut, not a lot of kids get highly recruited from there, which is natural just because it hasn't been a big hotspot for college recruiting in the past. So I really had to work hard to kind of get noticed and work my way up. Started off getting some offers from some Ivy League schools, which was awesome. I would have loved to play there, but then really set my sights on trying to get some Power 5 offers, and worked my way up and eventually started getting some Power 5 offers, and Penn State ended up offering me, and jumped at it when I got that because it was a great opportunity for me, both from a football and education and just proximity to home standpoint.
Yeah.
So when I got that opportunity, I took it, and I'm very grateful for all the other opportunities that other schools gave me as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. And after redshirting your freshman year, you had a very successful redshirt freshman year, appearing in 7 games, totaling 1 start. You got a few touchdowns, even scoring 2 against Maryland. And one thing about Penn State, and as a Notre Dame fan, it's kind of tough to say sometimes, but they got some of the rowdiest, if not the rowdiest fans in the whole country. So can you describe playing under the lights in those games in front of 100,000 plus people in those whiteout games?
Yeah, so Penn State takes great pride in having a great atmosphere for game day. No matter who we play, Coach Franklin always made it a priority to try to get as many fans in stands as possible, getting up to as much as 110,000 fans for our biggest games each year for those whiteout games, which is what people really think of when they think of Beaver Stadium. And I didn't really play in those whiteout games, but even just being there, it was just unreal to feel that atmosphere and just the energy that the fans and everyone around brings to it. It really does change the game for sure.
Yeah, and I think it might have been against Michigan. I just saw a clip recently, and they had to take a timeout in the first play because they couldn't hear because it was just so loud in there. And speaking of Michigan, you helped Penn State prevail over Michigan in the Big House with a 2-yard rushing touchdown. So how were you feeling after that touchdown, and what was the locker room like after getting that big away win against your arch nemesis in Michigan?
Well, that was great because we were having a rough season last year, and that was actually our first win of the season. So to be able to go into Michigan and beat them away for the first time in a long time, I think it was more than 6 or 7 years or so. So that was really cool, and just to kind of get the ball rolling, we didn't lose a game after that, and just felt good to go in there and contribute to a win.
Yeah, it's great. And recently, as you know, you can see the stuff behind you, the University of Kentucky logo. So you transferred to University of Kentucky, where you recently been named the QB1. You're going to be starting week 1. So how's your time with the Wildcats been so far, and what's the biggest difference, not just on the field, but off the field? Because going from Penn State to Kentucky must be a huge transition for you.
Yeah, it's been great. They've been very welcoming to me ever since I've got here. I've been here for a few months. I've just been working really hard, focusing on football first and foremost. and just started up classes for the first time, taking a master's program, which is going to be exciting. But still just want to make sure I can focus as much on football as possible and just make my game and make the team as ready as possible for each game. And I'd say the biggest challenge was not necessarily having to do with the University of Kentucky, but just with transferring in general, was just getting to a new program and having to learn everybody, both their names, their faces, but also just like their personalities. So being a quarterback, being a leader, you have to know how to get through to other types of people. And for me that I'm still working on every day is finding out how every different guy ticks and kind of how to get through them as best as possible and how to be the best leader for them that I can be.
Yeah, it's great, and I think you worked pretty well because I've seen your TikTok page. You make a lot of jokes with all your teammates, and I recently saw a video of you eating a banana, but you didn't peel the banana. And the New York Post did a whole article about it, so I had to ask you, just what was that video like, and did you get sick after that? And just in terms of TikTok too, do you think TikTok's going to help you out in football and making friends at the University of Kentucky, and even with NIL deals?
Yeah, I think with TikTok and just with social media in general, it's just a great way to promote your brand and show your personality, the side of you that other people won't necessarily see when they turn on ESPN or watch you on game day. It's just a way to kind of express who you are and to just attract different types of people and connect to different types of people. So it's just a great way to do that. And for the banana, I mean, I posted that about a month ago, a little more than that. But I had seen someone else eating like a prime banana or something. I was like, oh, let me take it to the next level. I'm sure it can't be that bad. So ate it with the peel. And I think when I was named starter, it kind of got resurfaced and picked up some traction. So that was pretty funny to see all that happen. But still kind of seeing maybe if I can make a deal out of it with some banana company somewhere. So if anyone's listening, I'm all ears.
Hey, listen, the Savannah Bananas, they're a baseball team in Georgia, and they're on ESPN a lot, but yeah, that was funny watching that. And I look up your name, and it says University of Kentucky star quarterback eats a banana, but you won't believe how. And I'm like, okay, I got to click on this. So now going back onto the field, though, you had a fantastic offseason. You tossed for a 65-yard touchdown in a scrimmage, and you've been really extremely efficient in the words of your head coach. So what are your expectations for the season, both on an individual basis and on a team basis?
I think that we just need to go into each week preparing our butts off and making sure that we don't really think, we just kind of execute when we go into games. And this offense is really, really good against a lot of different kinds of defenses, and it's going to be up to the coaches and to find out kind of how to best dissect the different defenses that we'll face each week. But they're going to do their jobs really well, and as long as we listen to them and do what we're told and prepare, we should be able to go into each game and execute, no problem. And I want to be able to go into each game knowing what to expect, knowing what kind of reads I'm going to have to make, and then when it gets down to it, just letting my natural God-given ability kind of take over and react, which is every game they're going to show you something different, and sometimes you just got to be a football player. So I want to go out there just be relaxed and just go out and just ball out. I mean, just let it all kind of let the preparation take over and make accurate throws, make good decisions, and lead the team to some wins.
Yeah, and you mentioned throws. You're a dual threat quarterback because I've seen a lot of highlights from you on the ground at Penn State. You're a Swiss Army knife. You're like a Taysom Hill type player back then. And as a college athlete, it's got to be very tough to balance your studies and your athletic career all on top of this because you graduated in 3 years, so you're very successful at doing so. So what's the biggest misconception about being a college athlete, and what's the hardest part about balancing both your athletic life and your academic life?
I think biggest misconception, I think you pointed to it, and just with the education piece. A lot of guys here, obviously, if their number one goal is to play in football in the NFL, that's what we're going to be where their primary focus is. But at the same time, everyone is striving to get a good degree from a great school, and it's not like it's being handed to us. Like, we have to work for it too. So I mean, I worked my butt off to get that degree in 3 years, and I got really good grades and just kept it as a priority for me on top of football. And I think that in order to succeed and balance everything, it has to do with being just very mature and very organized and have great time management skills. And something that took me a little bit to kind of figure out in college, but I have a good system for myself, just making sure I have all my eggs in are all everything kind of straightened out and know what to expect for the week ahead. And yeah, I mean, you just got to be disciplined, and as long as you do that and you kind of stick to the schedule that's given to you or that you make for yourself, then you should be able to get everything done, no problem.
Yeah, for sure, and it's really tough because I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like, these kids, they're playing. So as I mentioned, I'm a big Notre Dame fan. They're playing on NBC every single week, and on top of that, they got to have math homework after, on the plane ride, the bus ride home. So it's definitely got to be tough. And just to sum up here, coronavirus, everyone knows about it. It's definitely taken a big hit on the whole world, both sports and not even sports, just life in general. So has COVID kind of slowed down? Have you kind of eased back into things, and are restrictions a bit less loose? Or are you, still as strict as last season now that you're in Kentucky and COVID's kind of died down a tiny bit?
Yeah, it's definitely a little more lax than last year, especially just with the amount of kids on the team that have gotten vaccinated. Last year was just tough just because we were all so new to it, and all the things that we were doing were very new, just with getting tested almost every day at one point, which was really crazy to kind of think about and have to wake up early and do every day. But that was necessary to do to get through the season. So the fact that we don't have to do that if we're vaccinated anymore, and the social distancing rules aren't as strict, and just kind of the protocols that we go through, there are still some in place, but they aren't as extensive. It definitely brings back a sense of normalcy to the season and just how do we approach each day and each game. So it's very nice.
Yeah, it's great. And Will, I really appreciate all your time. It was amazing reading about your great-grandfather, your whole family, because I'm a big soccer player, so your mom's a great soccer player as well. And I just really appreciate your time, and best of luck with the season. I think University of Kentucky, everyone knows it as a basketball school, but the past couple of years, the football team's been improving a lot. So can't wait to see you on the field, and just the best of luck with everything.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chris. I'm excited for a big season, and excited to show you and everyone else what we got.
Yeah, well, let's see it. So thanks so much.